Why do I race in VR only? That is what we're going to be talking about in this video. I'm the Casual Racing Gamer, and welcome back. So, as you guys know from my channel, VR. That's all I preach is VR. PSVR2, Quest 2, Quest 3, Rift S, any other VR headset out there. Anytime I am racing in VR. And I always hear comments about, oh, I'm not as fast in VR. How can you be fast? How can you race? It's so blurry. The frames per second aren't as fast. You get drop frames and all this other stuff. Well, I'm going to tell you why. And yes, you know, there are negatives to VR. 100% there are negatives to racing in VR. But I'm going to tell you why I only race in VR. I started with the Quest, the original Quest. I went to the Rift S. I went to a Quest 2. I went to a Quest 3. That's all on PC. That's all with iRacing. But I also picked up PSVR2 to race with Gran, Turismo 7. And for me, VR is the only way I can race now. You know, there's games like Forza that come out, and I can't buy them. I can't race them. I can't race in something on my flat screen anymore. You know, there's ACC on console. I won't play it. I won't buy it unless we get a VR update for PSVR2. You know, I tried actually racing it on PC, but the VR is so bad there, and I won't race it because the VR is so bad. If I can't race a sim racing game in VR, right now I'm out. They're not going to get my money. They're not going to get my time because VR has taken over my life. Why? You know, quality wise, is the screens in VR as good as a flat screen 4K? 100% no. Is the smoothness as good as racing on a flat screen? Well, kind of, yeah. Depending on your setup, depending on how you're racing, depending on your settings, PSVR2 with GT7 is super smooth. Is it the clearest? It has a really small sweet spot. You have to find the clearness in it. It looks good enough. VR to me is good enough to race. Back when we had like the Quest 1 or even the original PSVR, I think with that, I think the clarity, it was hard to race. Like the original PSVR was very hard to race. I didn't enjoy it because the quality and the clarity wasn't good enough. But we are at a point where the clarity is so good that I am willing to sacrifice speed. Now, I'm a casual racing gamer, guys. I'm not a pro racer. I don't need to win every race. I don't need to be in the lead. I don't need to be the fastest out there. I want to race. I race for enjoyment. I race to have fun. For me, racing in VR offers that over a flat screen for me any single day of the week. It is just amazing feeling like you're in the car. When you're driving every car inside, when you're in the cockpit, it feels different. It looks different. You have to adjust to the different dashboards. That is part of racing in VR because you're actually racing in the car. When you're racing like on a 2D screen and you're using different views where you're not actually in the car and you're looking at the hood or the floor or things like that, you're not actually seeing the car. You're not actually driving the car. You don't actually, every car can feel the same because you're looking at like a view that doesn't show you the interior, because racing on the interior on a lot of racing games is not the same because you can't change the point of view and things like that, where iRacing you can change the point of view in 2D screens. So that's a good thing about that. Not all racing games actually do that, but it's something where you just being in the car and the intensity and it gets your heart rate up and you just feel like this, like you're in the car. When there's a car riding on the side of you, you know, you're in VR, that car is there, that car is on the side of you, you feel it, you sense it, you see it. But when you're on a flat screen and your flat screen's in front of you, there's a car on the side of you, you're not there, you don't feel it. That car on the side of you, you're looking in front of you to know there's a car on the side of you. It's such a different feeling when you're in VR. And like I said, VR quality is so good right now, and it's only going to get better, where I think we hit a point where we can't say VR is so bad I still can't race in it. It is so good as far as clarity goes, where it's so good to say that I super enjoy racing in VR, whether it's PSVR2, which I think is amazing for console players. If you're on PC, it's endless of how many VR headsets you can get. But with the Quest 3 just coming out now is a great choice, and you have so many other headsets coming out now. Not super expensive like they used to be in the thousands of dollars. You can pick them up for hundreds, literally $500. You walk away with a Quest 3. Obviously, you need a PC to power it and stuff like that, but it's so worth it if you can afford it, and if you don't get sick. Obviously, people get sick in VR that do want to race in VR, but I'm willing to sacrifice speed. Do I have to sacrifice speed? I don't have to sacrifice speed. I can be just as fast in VR as I am on a flat screen, just like people can be just as fast on a controller that they are on a wheel and pedals. It's what you practice, it's what you get used to. being able to turn your head and look at the apex as you're coming into a turn, look out as you're going out, you know, turning your head back and forth while you're racing, that's all advantages in VR. That can make you faster. It can make you more consistent. Even if it's not necessarily giving you faster laps, you can become more consistent on turns, on apexes, in, out, and things like that. So for me, I am going to pick every single day the enjoyment of VR over if I'm sacrificing speed, if I'm sacrificing settings. You know, we already know GT7 doesn't give you things in VR that you actually see when you're in a 2D screen, but I'm willing to sacrifice all that because of the enjoyment. 100% it's about the enjoyment. It's about the intensity that I feel in VR, and that for me is why I only race sim racing games in VR, and games for me today have to support VR in order for me to pick them up and play them, because that's where I am at. So I'm curious what you guys think. If you guys race in VR, do you guys do both? I don't even do both. I just strictly do VR. I don't even switch back and forth anymore. I am 100% in VR. I haven't raced 2D racing screens and I don't even know how long. So I'm curious what you guys do. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you guys, if you don't race in VR, why you don't race in VR, what you have against it. If you tried it, what you didn't like about it, because if you tried it years ago, things are way, way different right now. They look so good right now. So let me know in the comments, guys. Thumb up the video, subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one. We out of here. Peace.